Hi love, welcome back. In today's class we're making this beautiful men's shirt. If you're new to the channel, my name is Miss Ayi and you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you my love for always coming back. Let's get right into class. In today's class, we are going to be working with this measurement. The length is 28 inches. That's the vertical line. The length is the straight right vertical line, and the chest is horizontal, the one that goes round. So we'll be working in two panels, the back and the two front panels. So we are going to divide the chest into two. So the back is a complete panel, so that is 20 inches. We're going to be working straight 20 inches, and the front panel we are going to divide it by 2, so which is 10 inches. Work your calculations and let's start. So to begin with, you are going to make a long chain. I always prefer to make a long chain about 110 and work until I get my desired row. We are going to be starting with the back panel. So we are going to be doing 20 inches of chains. So I made 100 chains, and this is my 100 chains complete. Now row 1, you're going to yarn over, skip 3 and make a double crochet in the 4th stitch. So the skip chain 3 count as your first double crochet. So you're going to put another double crochet in the same space and chain 1. Now you're going to skip 2, and inside the 3rd stitch you're going to place 3 double crochets in the same stitch. So this is 1, 2 and 3. Chain 1, skip 2 and place 3 double crochet in the 3rd stitch. 1, 2 and 3. Chain 1, skip 2 and place 3 double crochet in the 3rd stitch. You are going to repeat this until you have your 20 inches. So I'll come back when I have my 20 inches and we shall get rid of the excess chain. Moving on. So this is my work and it measures 22 inches. So I'm going to untie 2 inches. I'm going to undo 2 inches until it measures 20. So as you can see, I'll take only 2 cluster out and I've done that. Now row 2, you're going to chain 4, turn your work, and you're going to work 3 double crochets in the first chain 1 space. So you can see the excess chain, don't worry about it. We shall deal with that when we are through with our work. Now you are going to make 3 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces. So you're going to chain 1, make 3 double crochets and the chain 1 space below. So you are going to keep repeating this until the end of the row. Chain 1, 3 double crochets until the end. At the end of the row of 2, at the last stitch, inside the last stitch, you are going to place your 3 double crochet cluster. So this is 1, 2 and 3. Now row 3, you are going to chain 4. So the beginning of the row, we are always going to chain 4. Turn your work and we are going to repeat row 1 and 2. So we are going to make 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space, chain 1, chain 1, and repeat 3 double crochets in the chain 1 spaces below until the end of your row. So don't forget to always chain 1 in between. So This is row 3, so keep doing this until the end of the row. So at the end of the row, this big space, you are going to place 3 double crochets. So the chain 4 counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. So now you should be having something like this, and this is row 3. So you are going to row 4, you are going to chain 4, turn your work, and you are going to repeat row 2 and row 3. So place your 3 double crochets all together in the chain 1 space below, and you are going to keep repeating this until the end of row 4, row 5, row 6, row 7, row 8, until you get your desired 28 inches. Is the same. The back panel, we are going to be working in horizontal, so we are just working in line until, or in rows, until we get to 28 inches in our measurement. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So keep building up, build up until you have your desired measurement or your desired length. In this case, mine is 28 inches, and I'm going to keep repeating the same exact thing until I have 28 inches. If working the back panel would be confusing as to get the equal front panel measurement, you can start working on one front panel and use that to guide on how many you have to do for the back panel. I did this for myself, and you can skip to see how to make the front panel and just make one front panel as I've done, and use that to guide you make the back panel until you have equal measurement, because one is vertical and one is horizontal. So we are not going to get the same exact measurement, but you can use one front panel to guide you through how many you need to make for the back panel. So you can see the front panel is already 28 inches, and I'm going to work the back panel until I have 28 inches. And this is my 28 inches. So the size measures 20 inches and the length is 28. So it's 20 and 28. The length is 28 inches. Right. So this is what you should be having for your back panel. This is one side of my front panel, but I'm going to walk you through how to make this same exact front panel. Remember, we are going to be making 2 panels for the front, and I've already made one, but I'm going to show you how I made this one, and is the same. You are just going to do the same exact, repeat the same exact pattern to get the 2. So you don't have to worry about it. Just be calm and let's get to work. So with this front panel, I started by making 15 rows, and after the 15 rows I switched to my 3 different color and ended with the original color 4 rows. So in total I have 22 rows, but we are going to do the opposite of this. And now to work the other side, we are going to start with 4 rows and switch our colors, and now we make our 15 rows. So that's just the little difference. The first one, you're going to make sure you start with 15 rows of your original color, switch 3 colors and make 4, go back to the original color, right? And the other one, you're going to start with the opposite. To begin the front panel, you're going to make a slip knot and make a long chain. I made about 110 chains, but I'm going to work in until I have 28 inches, and I would not work in the excess. So now you're going to skip 3 and make double crochet in the 4th chain. Chain the 3 chains you skip count as a double crochet, chain 1. Now you're going to chain 1, skip 2, work 3 double crochet in the next stitch. Chain 1, skip 2, work 3 double crochets in the next stitch, and you are going to do this until you have 28 inches. So remember, the back panel we worked the horizontal before vertical, so we worked until we had our length, but with the front panel we are working the vertical until we get 10 inches. So now at the end of the row, you're going to chain 4, turn your work, and you're going to place 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space. You're going to chain 1 and place 3 double crochets in the chain 1 spaces until the end of the row. So this is the same exact thing just as the back panel. The only difference is the working direction. At the end of the row, you're going to chain 1 and place your last 3 double crochet at the very last stitch. So this is row 2. Now row 3, you are going to chain 4, turn your work, and you are going to repeat row 2. So make 3 double crochets in the first chain 1 space, chain 1, and keep making your 3 double crochet cluster, chain 1 until the end of the row. Now at the end of the row, you are going to place 3 double crochet again in the last stitch, chain 4, turn your work, and you are going to repeat this for row 4. So row 4, you are going to chain 4, turn your work. Beginning of every row, we are chaining 4 and turning. So you're going to chain 4, turn your work, and you keep repeating 3 double crochet cluster, chain 1 until the end of the row. At the end of row 4, if you are making for the first panel, which I have already made, you are going to repeat this for 15 rows before you continue with your yellow, your gray, and your cream. But if you are doing the other side first, then you are going to only make 4 rows and start and continue with the cream, the gray, and the yellow. That's the only difference. We are working the opposite. So this is the 4. So we are going to switch to our cream, after that our ash and yellow, and we will do 15 rows of our original color again. Now connect your yarn, chain 4, turn your work, and I like to always tie this together to secure the loose ends together, to secure it before I continue my work. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Now you're going to place 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space, chain 1, and you're going to repeat this until the end of the row. So the pattern is literally this easy. Easy is relative, so just follow it. I'm very sure you can be able to do this. So in your last stitch, don't forget to always place your 3 double crochets. Now we are going to switch to our gray yarn. There we go. And we are going to chain 4, turn your work, and you are going to place 3 double crochets in the first chain 1 space, chain 1, and keep repeating this until the end of the row. At the end of the row, we are going to switch again to our yellow, and we are going to work 4 double crochets. You are going to turn your work 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space, the very first chain 1 space, chain 1, and keep repeating your 3 double crochet clusters until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you are going to cut, and we are going to be joining our original color, and we are going to make 15 rows, and that's the end of our very first front panel. And you're going to go ahead and make the opposite, just as I've shown you for the other side, and we shall join all the panels together. So this is the 15. So go ahead and make 15 rows, and I'll meet you when I'm done with my 15 rows. So I'm done with my 15 rows. At the end of the row, you're going to chain 1 or 2, cut and fasten your yarn. So all the panels are done. You're going to make sure you sew in all loose ends or cut all loose ends. And the excess yarn, you are just going to cut it closer and pull, so it will turn into a knot. So you're going to cut all loose ends and make sure your work is neat, and we shall join all the panels together. If you haven't subscribed to the channel up until this point, my love, my darling, my baby, please do. And if you're a returning subscriber and you've made it up until this point, I appreciate you, my love. So this is the back panel, and you're going to place your work, and make sure the wrong side is always facing you. So with the back panel, the right side should be the one facing up, and the wrong side should be the one facing down. And with the 2 front panels, the wrong side should be facing you, and the right side should be inside. To attach our work together, we are going to start by attaching our shoulder part together, and I'm going to count 17 stitches and place my stitch marker on the 18th. This stage is a bit crucial, so make sure you align your panels very well so you would be able to see the lines and put them together very well, so one would not be bigger than the other. So align them well. Now I'm going to leave this excess one. So on the 17th stitch, I'm going to place a stitch marker. So I'm left with 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And same applies to this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the stitch marker is on the seat 1, but we are going to work on the seat 1. That's why I'm not counting it. So the other side, you are going to leave again 5 and place your stitch marker inside the seat stitch. Attach it to the back panel. So we are just leaving some we are just leaving 5 rows for the 2 front panels. We are not going to be working or attaching to that 5 rows. So now attach your yarn, and you're going to chain 2, and inside the very first space you're going to place 2 double crochet. Chain 2 already count as a double crochet. In the back panel, you are going to place a single crochet now, and chain 1, and place a single crochet, chain 1, place a single crochet at the back, chain 1, and now you're going to chain 2 and make 3 double crochets. So what we are doing is that we are working only in the spaces, that's the chain 2 spaces, and the blocked areas we are going to only be working single crochets. So let's take it again. Work your single crochet. Now to the front panel, work your single crochet, chain 1. To the back panel, the block area, work a single crochet, chain 1. Now you are back to a space. Now inside the space, you're going to work 3 double crochets. In the back panel space, you are just going to make a single crochet. Chain 1, work a single crochet in the block space, chain 1, work a single crochet in the back block space, chain 2 or 1, and work 3 double crochets in the open space. Let's take that again. Now you're going to work a single crochet in the open space at the back, chain 1, and you're going to repeat this until you get to where the stitch marker is. And you get to where the stitch marker is, we are going to be working single crochets inside the back panel all across. So now we are not going to be working inside the front panel, but we are going to work single crochets in each stitch. So with the back panel, it's very obvious to see the stitches. So work it until you get to the other side of your front panel where the stitch marker is, and you are going to take off the stitch marker and repeat the same exact process until the end of the row. So we are only working the 3 double crochets in the open space. The block space is chain 1, single crochets inside both panels, and inside the open space we are making 3 double crochets, and the back panel is only single crochets throughout. But if you have a better way or a more easier or comfortable way in attaching the panel, please feel free to use your method. I feel this works perfect for this stitch. So at the end of the row, you are going to chain 1, cut and fasten your yarn, and we have attached our shoulder sides, and this is what we should be having. Now we are going to be attaching our arm, but before we do that, we have to measure and leave out our armhole, and I'm going to measure 9 inches or 9.5 and place your stitch marker. And this again, make sure your work is aligned properly. Don't because the back panel and the front panel, they are 2 different like rows. Make sure they are aligned well, straighten up before you start attaching from the bottom. To attach the sides of our work, we are going to be attaching using single crochets. You can also use slip stitches to do this part, and all we are going to do is to make sure our work is aligned, and we are going to be making single crochets in the back panel and front panel, and we are going to be alternating until we get to where our stitch marker is. So is alternating single crochet inside the back and the front until we get to where our stitch marker is. We are at the stitch marker place, and you're going to go ahead and take off your stitch marker, and now we are going to be working our armhole. And to work our armhole, first you are going to chain 1, and we are going to go around, make single crochets all around until the end of the row. So we can see the beginning, we were skipping 2 and working 3 double crochets in a single crochet. So in the 2 skip space, we are going to work in the 2 chains, we are going to work 2 single crochets, and the cluster, we are only going to be placing a single crochet. So 2 single crochet and a single crochet, 2 single crochet and a single crochet. We are going to do this until all around, until we get to where we connected our shoulder line. So I'm at the middle part, and now we are going to place our last 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. And now to the back panel, we are only going to be placing 2 single crochets in each row, because in that row we don't have any chains. We ended with a double crochet, so we are going to be placing 2 single crochets in each row. So 2 in the open area, 2 in the closed area, and at the end of the row we are going to slip stitch and chain 3. So these are 3 chains, count as our first double crochet. Now we are going to place 2 more double crochets in the same space. We are going to skip 2, place 3 double crochets in the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, skip 2, place 3 double crochets in the 3rd stitch, chain 1, skip 2. So we are going to repeat this until the end of the row. So basically we are doing the same exact pattern: 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1. At the end of the row we are going to slip stitch on top of our first chain 3 space and chain 3. So this is row 2. So you are going to place 2 more double crochets in that open space, chain 1, and we are going to start making our clusters in the chain 1 spaces below. So chain 1, make 3 double crochets in the next open space, and you are going to repeat this until you get to row 7. So at the end of each row you are going to slip stitch on top of the chain 3 space. So go ahead and work this until you get to row 7, and we shall switch our yarn. This is my complete row 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we are going to switch our yarn to our next color, which is yellow. So we are going to work only 1 row of the yellow. So you are going to attach your work and chain 3, and you are going to place 2 more double crochets in the same stitch or in the first open space. You're going to, now with the yellow, the only thing changing is from this to the end of your arm. We are not going to be chaining 1 in the middle, so we are only going to be making 3 double crochets, yarn over, make 3 double crochets in each stitch until the end of the row. Now we are not going to be chaining 1 in the middle. From row 7 we are not going to chain 1 in the middle, so keep doing this until the end of the row. So switch to your gray and your cream, and after that you make 4 more rows of your original color, or just size it and see how long or short you want your arm to be, the length you want it to be, and you end there. And when you end, just make a single crochet all around and slip stitch. But I'm going to go ahead and switch my colors. So this is my second color. After, I'll switch to the cream. After the cream, I'll make 4 more rows of my original color before I make my single crochets all around. So this is what I was talking about, and this is what my work looks like. So you are going to repeat this same exact process at the other side of your work. So make sure you work your arm. And now I'm done with all. Let's work our collar. So with the collar, you are going to skip 1, 2, 3, and inside the 4th row you are going to attach your yarn. So make a slip knot and pull through to attach your yarn. Chain 2, and this is the beginning of our increase. Make 2 double crochets in the same space, so in total you have 3. Now moving on, you're going to be working 2 double crochets in each space. So this is 2. So in each row, work 2 double crochets. And now when you get to the back where we made our single crochets, you are going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch all across to the other side of your collar. And when you get to the rows, you work 2 double crochets in each space. And make sure you count your 4 and place your stitch marker. There you have it. So work until you get to the stitch marker. In your last space, remember you're working 3 double crochets in the last stitch. Now you are going to chain 3, turn your work, and inside the very first same space you are going to make a double crochet. So this is an increase. So keep working double crochets until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you're going to place 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Chain 3, turn your work, place a double crochet in the same stitch. So we are going to be increasing in each row, both the beginning and the end. Place 1 double crochets, and at the end you are going to place 2 double crochets. I made 6 rows, and now you are going to cut and chain 1, cut and fasten your yarn. Now we are going to be working the borders. So this is the collar. I made 6 rows. You can make 7 if you desire, but we are not done. We are going to be working 1 more row all around. So to make the borders, or to define the borders, you are just going to take your stitch marker off, attach the yarn, and we are going to be working single crochets in each stitch. So where there's rows, we are going to work 2 single crochet in each row. And we are going to work single crochets all around our work. So make sure you carefully place your single crochets, and when you get to where our chain 2 and a cluster, you're going to put 2 single crochets in the chain space. In the cluster space of our chain 1, you're going to place, or our stitch in our cluster stitch, you're going to place a single crochet. In our chain 2 space, you're going to place 2 single crochet. So go ahead and work all your border across, work around your work to give it a very fine definition. So at the bottom, you're going to chain 1 in the corners and still continue making your single crochets. So in rows, remember to always make 2 double crochets in each, sorry, 2 single crochets in each rows. And when you get to a more defined space like 2 single crochet and a cluster, 2 chains, sorry, and a cluster, work your 2 single crochets and a single crochets. So work around, all around, until you get to our collar, and we shall make something different. On top of our collar, that's our 6 double crochets, we would switch up a little. So we are the last row, and we are going to work 2 single crochets in each space. And now on the sides of our collar, again in each row we are going to make 2 single crochets. Now on top of the collar, you're going to chain 2. You're going to be making something different. So chain 2, skip 2, work 3 double crochets in the next stitch. Chain 1, skip 2, work 3 double crochets. So this is our last row for the collar, and we are going to do this until the end of the row. At the end of the row, we are going to make 2 single crochets in each row and slip stitch at where we started, inside the chain 1 space. So slip stitch, cut and fasten your yarn, and make sure you cut and fasten all loose ends, and you are done with your work. Make sure to place your button if you want to, and we are done, my love. Bye bye.